Hello guys! It has been a stressful semester and June ended with a blast. My Crying Lady video got trending on TikTok with more than 200,000 views. And as of now, I'm still taking a rest from all of the stress brought by my architectural thesis, but today I'm back! And you are now witnessing a glimpse on what happened for the month of June. And thank you guys for being part of my architectural thesis journey. I had so many plans on what content should I be putting up, but since thesis defended na ako, let's reserve the story time in the next few vlogs. I'd like to share to you my full architectural thesis video presentation. Enjoy watching!
Public spaces such as streets, markets, parks, and the like play a vital role in the social life of communities. These shared resources are so-called self-organizing public service. Public markets, the heart of every town, are an effective way to bring a community together. Palenques are major avenues that empower the agricultural sector, consumers, farmers, vendors, and collective communities. Upon showing the existing conditions of SILANG public market, local public markets have also been evaluated in the study, namely May Paho and Retail Public Market. With the ocular investigations alongside with the interviews conducted, the impressions and typically negative connotations such as masikip, mabaho, lack of ventilation have been the stigma of these facilities, thus affecting the vitality of the place. Silang Public Market consists of over 740 market stalls, and as observed, most of these are unmaintained, old, located at a poor visibility to the consumers. The main buildings are congested, resulting to an inefficient circulation, and it lacks of visual cues for wayfinding. There are many reasons why people go to a public market. Through the findings in the study, experiences are not usually heightened because of how the space is structured. Palenques should fulfill both the needs and wants of the community. The Silang public market reflects the cultural identity of the town. How can public markets showcase a cultural sense of enrichment? Silang, a first-class municipality, is believed to be one of the oldest towns in Cavite, and with its historical background, from the Spanish Revolt and up to this present day, agriculture has been the primary economy that sustained the life of the Silangeños. Corn, coffee, pineapple, to name a few of its primary crops, and together with other local products, this will be integrated in order to market them in the proposed development through social architecture. Silang public market can be of great potential in addressing food security through architecture, connect people to agriculture, and transform as an agricultural ecozone. Old market buildings shall be demolished due to its structural adequacy and other conditions, while some buildings may be retained and repurposed for the project, which is entitled SILANG SOCIO-CIVIC MULTIPLEX, the revitalization of Silang public market through the synthesis of placemaking, which facilitates creative patterns of use and the sense of place, and multiculturalism, which nurtures existing distinctive qualities and resources. A comparative analysis of case studies have been conducted in order to assess the best and least applicable for the project. For the foreign case studies, number 1, Sydney Fish Market in Australia achieved robustness and variety in its spaces. For the second one, as for the B public market and civic offices in Spain, the design achieved an efficient circulation and spatial distribution. Aside from those typologies, Van Gelder Tate Valley Vegetable and Fruit Headquarters showcase the connection of humans with agriculture and nature through architecture. Assessing the successful exhibits of local public markets in the Philippines, Maramag Public Market in Bukidnon has been considered the cleanest public market and also adapted the local economic enterprises. Lastly, the most applicable in the project, Palo Public Market in Leyte, which utilized the quarter design as an active park and public space. Its design was able to achieve an improved accessibility and sense of place. According to the FAO-UN, it is still essential to evaluate other locations aside from the existing sites subjected for redevelopment. Evaluating the three options with the formulated site criteria, the existing site, and the second option, which is adjacent, have approximate results leading to a lot expansion. Assessing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, this is the overall site analysis and how strategies were formulated with its existing conditions. The irregularity of the lot shape enabled the floor modification, which needs to have a connecting and transitional point to avoid the description of the buildings as a public market. The site is highly accessible by major and minor roads leading to strategic drop-off points. Due to the prevalence of noise pollution and traffic, sound simulating plants and landscape outer space will also function as a density alleviation and may be designed to be a location for night markets every cultural celebration in SILANG, also called as the Trange. The zoning and landmarks also identify the potential users of the project. As for the topography and surface water runoff, the site is not flood prone but will adapt different strategies to utilize rainwater such as sustainable planters and impervious surfaces. This is the sun and wind path analysis, which also has been a primary consideration in situating the urban beekeeping, which is advised to be located in a dry, quiet, sunny area of the property facing in a northeasterly direction. Urban beekeeping functions as assistant pollinators to flowers, crops, and plants. This strategy integrated in the project supports the economic concept, complying to the standards of agricultural tourism, intersecting to the strive of SILANG to be a garden capital. Edible gardens, garden-to-table approach in a community restaurant, and urban farming will be encouraged in the development. In line with this, a crop diversification tactic under climate-smart agriculture will be applied through long-term, short-term, and disaster-resilient crops. There will also be outdoor and indoor workshop areas, livelihood and learning spaces that will educate the localities about the mentioned agricultural practices. People make places. Developing the design conceptual framework, the revitalization applies design inspiration, design sensibility, and design innovation. These are the building systems that will be adapted in the project. Discussing its functionality, a hierarchy from the most to least essential goods have been classified for the major considerations under the space planning of the building. This is based from the given market sectioning of goods given by the market admin. In the eastern section is where most of the consumers will originate, assessing their walk paths and local transportation routes, meaning this is where the Department of Local Economic Enterprises will also be located. As mentioned, open space functions as density alleviation, but at the same time, there will be a focal point that will show connection of both indoor and outdoor activities. This area will mainly be strategized as a food hub, leading to a narrative towards the courtyard of the adjacent building to highlight the garden, restaurant, and ornamental plants. Courtyard concepts have been applied for easier navigation of zones and spaces. The curvature also improves the visual weight and visibility. Proceeding to the western zone of the development is where the goods of the higher frequency are located, such as the wet market, fruits, vegetables, rice, eggs, and dried fish. As a strategy, adequate visual markers, drainage, and non-skid tiles should be applied to improve the wet market. As for the olfactory comfort, an openness for natural ventilation, large setbacks, and buffers to avoid disturbance in adjacent developments are being provided. Proceeding to the second level of the main building is where the fruits and vegetables are located. In order to be connected to the agricultural related practice, which is the urban beekeeping, located in the northeastern roof deck. Upon conducting a behavioral analysis of the users, different planning strategies have been adopted, such as the existing practice of stall sharing has also been put into consideration. Interior walls of building will be designed for better visibility and safer edges, avoiding blind spots, which are currently adapted in a typical market setting. Voids also help improve the ventilation, circulation, visibility, navigation of various market stalls, since it enables connectivity between two different levels. Also, to improve the flow, curved voids are applied to shelves to be more inviting to the user and at the same time lessens the traffic in the aisles. This is a conceptual configuration of a market stall specifically applied in both the fruits and vegetable sections. From a typical monotonous layout, there comes an applied informal pattern with curved voids. Achieving multiculturalism, vendors may have their own sense of personalization in their market space. The concept considers the existing social context on how vendors interact with the consumers. Thus, the said informal layout shows an improved product visibility and visual cue for navigating a specific stall. The concept of flexibility for temporary market stalls derived from case studies, from a lightweight module through an accordion mechanism, a full module, half, triad, and a quarter module, which puts into account existing behaviors. For example, for the quarter module, in a selected setting, there are vendors who prefer to stay beside their goods, outside their stall, and socialize with other vendors. Each color-coded module has a social distribution context and how will be the accommodation of consumers, visibility for the marketing of products, and point of accessibility of the vendors. For indoor furniture, an eco-brick bottle chair enables the primary users to compress their trash and repurpose. This is under the sustainability concept, which is a socially engaging waste management. Waste depository areas and materials recovery facility are distributed in every market zone. Aside from including vermicomposting, the project will also include a recent invention that can be an alternative energy source, the Aurea solar window, which utilizes fruit and vegetable compost. Culture shapes architecture. It can be learned, shared, or integrated. And with these characteristics, it is now time to bring agriculture closer to the people and create a socially connected perception towards the visual space, a key concept of the project that will heighten the public market experience. This concludes the overview presentation. I'm Maxine Naval, the researcher, with my project entitled SILANG SOCIO-CIVIC Multiplex.